Malainin Mohamed, Deputy Permanent Representative. Est-ce que...
Thank you very much. It is a Sahrawi Republic.
7 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Chairperson of the Commission, Excellencies, Commissioners, Ambassadors, distinguished Member State delegates, representatives of national human rights mechanisms, NGOs, all protocols observed. Allow me first to express the Sahrawi Republic's sincere thanks to the Republic of the Gambia for its continued generosity in hosting and supporting the work of the Commission. Let me also stress the crucial role this August Commission and all other related African institutions are playing in promoting, monitoring, and protecting human rights across Africa. The African Union's 2025 theme on reparations highlights the need for justice, healing, and accountability for historical and ongoing colonial injustices. It is within this general spirit that I am addressing you on behalf of the Sahrawi Republic to inform you with deep concern about one of the most severe, persistent, and yet overlooked human rights and humanitarian crises on our continent. I am talking, Your Excellencies, about the situation in the occupied zones of the Sahrawi Republic, Western Sahara, Africa's last colony, under Morocco's ongoing illegal occupation. The Sahrawi people are being denied their basic rights to self-determination, freedom and dignity, and as His Excellency the Chairperson of the Commission just said a few minutes ago, Africa is sick and suffering because of the non-respect of the African human and people's rights. I cannot agree more on this diagnostic, Mr. Chairperson. For decades, the Sahrawi people have suffered under foreign military occupation in clear violation of African and international law, including the African Charter, the United Nations Charter, and the African Union Constitutive Act. This occupation is not only a denial of sovereignty to a founding AU member, but also the source of widespread systemic abuses that this Commission and all the relevant African and UN bodies can no longer ignore, given the grave implications for regional and continental stability. At the heart of this crisis is, of course, the illegal exploitation of Sahrawi natural resources. For years, multinationals and complicit states have looted Western Sahara's fisheries, phosphates, and more in open defiance of international law, including the latest 2024 ruling of the European Court of Justice. This is not mere illegality, it is shameless economic aggression and the theft of African wealth. Meanwhile, Sahrawis endure systematic repression, enforced disappearances, torture, even of children and people with special needs, extrajudicial executions, sexual violence, arbitrary arrests, and sham military trials against civilians. These are not isolated incidents, they are daily systematic realities. Sahrawi civilians are forcibly displaced, their homes destroyed, wells and sources of water devastated, and livestock endangered. This scorched earth policy is a deliberate effort to displace the Sahrawi population and replace them with Moroccan settlers. Cultural genocide, economic marginalization, and restrictions on education, freedom of speech, and protest aim to suppress Sahrawi identity entirely. Sahrawi political prisoners remain in deplorable conditions, far from home, in prison in Moroccan jails. The Gdeim is a group, especially a group of human rights defenders convicted in trials widely condemned by international observers, symbolize the impunity Morocco enjoys, shielded, of course, by powerful ex-colonial allies willing to disregard international law and believing that might can or should make rights in our world. Even more alarming is the media blackout. Journalists, UN bodies, and AU observers are barred from the occupied territory, while activists are punished for speaking out. Western Sahara has become Africa's largest open-air prison, sealed from scrutiny and ruled by fear. The African Commission itself has been blocked from visiting the territory since 2013, 12 years of silence while violations worsen. Since Morocco violated the ceasefire on November 13, 2020, armed conflict resumed between the Moroccan Army of Invasion and the Sahrawi Army of Liberation. Violence against Sahrawi civilians has escalated. Moroccan drones target civilians using prohibited weapons. These indiscriminate attacks constitute war crimes and must be urgently condemned. Mr. President, this is more than a human rights crisis. It is a test of the credibility of our institutions. The African Charter cannot be selectively applied. The Sahrawi Republic is a full EU member state. Its people are fully Africans, yet they feel forgotten, expected to endure and accept horrific abuses in silence, and this is simply unfair. We call on this esteemed Commission to fully uphold its responsibilities by urgently resuming its long-delayed mission to the occupied territories, investigating and documenting the full scale of violations in Western Sahara, demanding accountability from the occupying power, and expressing clear solidarity with the Sahrawi people in line with the principles and goals of Pan-Africanism that guided our founding fathers enshrined in our Charter. Excellencies, brothers and sisters, Africa cannot afford to look away. This is not some distant war. It is unfolding here, on our soil, under our watch. We are the custodians of this continent's legacy. History will judge us not by our words, not by our intentions, not even by our fears and prudence, but by our actions. No justification, no geopolitical excuse, no diplomatic evasion can absolve inaction. This is not merely a conflict, it is a modern colonization, a continuous crime against humanity, and a grave assault on African dignity taking place in front of our eyes. Let us remember that our nations stand free today because past generations choose to resist injustice, giving their lives and dreams as a sacrifice. Would they have remained silent out of fear or indifference back then? No one of us will be here. Now it is our turn to choose where to stand. We urge this Commission, finally, I am finishing, and we urge all African Union relevant institutions to break the silence and translate their mandates into deeds and actions, because justice delayed is not justice denied. It can also be perceived as complicity or at least a failure to uphold moral and institutional responsibility. I thank you.
Merci beaucoup.